Welcome to Special Education with Mr. G. Today, we're breaking down MTSS, the multi-tiered system of supports in the simplest way possible. If you're a teacher, a parent, a school leader, or really anyone trying to understand how schools help students before they fall behind, this video is absolutely for you. MTSS is one of the most important systems in modern education, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. So today, I'm going to make it clear, practical, and super easy to follow. So, let's start with what MTSS is not. MTSS is not a program you buy off a shelf. It is not a dusty binder sitting in an office. It is not only for struggling students, and this is a big one. MTSS is absolutely not special education. So what is it then? MTSS is a framework. It's a whole school approach that makes sure every single student gets the level of support they need exactly when they need it. Think of it like a 3-story building. Everybody starts out on the first floor. This is where the core learning happens. Some students might need some temporary help, so they head up to the second floor for a bit. A few others might need really intensive focused support on the third floor. But the goal for everyone is exactly the same: to keep all students progressing and prevent failure before it ever happens. The truth is, students fall behind for all kinds of reasons. It could be academic gaps, behavior challenges, mental health struggles, attendance issues, family problems, language barriers. The list goes on. MTSS exists because schools do want to wait until a child is drowning before throwing them a life raft. It's an early warning and early intervention system. Instead of just reacting to failure after the fact, MTSS helps us prevent it from the very beginning. So let's talk about that first floor, or what we call Tier 1. Tier 1 is the foundation. It's what every student should experience in every single classroom, every single day. This isn't anything extra. It's just great teaching. Tier 1 includes things like having really clear expectations for behavior and academics. It's about delivering strong core instruction, where lessons are well-planned and engaging. It involves differentiating lessons to meet diverse needs, using visual supports to help students understand, and having predictable routines so the classroom feels safe and organized. Tier 1 also means building positive relationships with students, using classroom accommodations like preferential seating, embedding social-emotional learning into daily lessons, constantly checking for understanding to make sure no one is getting lost. Let me give you a real-world example. If you're teaching reading, a strong Tier 1 lesson is well organized. It's paced correctly, it has visuals, it has examples, and it gives students plenty of opportunities to talk, practice, and ask questions. For behavior, Tier 1 means your classroom rules are posted, taught, practiced, and reinforced every single day. When Tier 1 is strong, about 80% of your students should be succeeding without any additional support. It's the bedrock of the entire system. Now let's move up to the second floor, Tier 2. This is for students who show signs that they need a little more help. It's not because they're failing, but because they're just starting to struggle. We see a little wobble, and we step in to offer support. Tier 2 support is more targeted and usually delivered in small groups. This could look like a small group reading intervention or targeted math practice on a specific skill. It could be a behavior check-in, check-out system where a student connects with an adult at the start and end of the day. Other Tier 2 supports include social skills groups, extra practice with vocabulary or phonics, or even pairing a student with a peer or adult mentor. These interventions are short-term and data-driven. We track progress to see if it's working. For example, if a student is reading below grade level, they might join a small group 3 times a week for some focused decoding practice. Or for behavior, a student might have a simple daily check-in chart where they get positive feedback every class period. Tier 2 is designed to be a quick boost, and it typically supports about 10 to 15% of students in a school. Okay, let's head up to the third floor, Tier 3. This is the most intensive and individualized level of support. Tier 3 is reserved for students who need highly specific help based on detailed data. These interventions are not one-size-fits-all. They are custom-built for one student. Tier 3 can include one-on-one instruction with a specialist, individual behavior plans based on a functional behavior assessment, or crisis intervention supports for students with significant needs. Progress monitoring here is frequent, sometimes daily, or even hourly, to ensure the plan is working. Here's a Tier 3 example for academics. student with severe reading gaps might get daily one-on-one lessons focusing only on phonics and comprehension strategies tailored to their exact needs. For behavior, a student might have an individualized behavior intervention plan, or BIP, that includes changes to their environment, a powerful reinforcement system, and a clear crisis procedure for staff. Tier 3 is for the very few students, typically around 3 to 5%, who need that powerful wraparound support to succeed. Now, this next part is very, very important, so please listen closely. MTSS is not the same thing as special education. Special education is a legal service provided to eligible students through an IEP, an individualized education program. An IEP is a legally binding plan that's created only after a formal evaluation determines a student has a disability that impacts their learning. MTSS, on the other hand, is the framework that schools use before even considering a special education evaluation. It helps the school team answer some critical questions. Questions like, has the student received high-quality, research-based instruction? What specific supports have we already tried? Did the student respond to those interventions? How well do they perform when they get that extra Tier 2 or Tier 3 help? If a student continues to struggle significantly despite well-delivered intensive support in Tier 2 and Tier 3, then the team might consider a formal special education evaluation. MTSS ensures we don't over-refer students for special education, that we don't under-support them, and that they aren't misdiagnosed. It's a gatekeeper that ensures fairness. So why does all this matter? Why is MTSS so important? Because with MTSS, students get help early, not after they've already failed a class or a grade. It creates a system of fairness, equity, and opportunity for every single child. Students benefit directly through early reading support that prevents long-term struggles, develop better behavior habits, improve their social-emotional skills, and build stronger relationships with their teachers. This leads to less frustration in the classroom, increased confidence in their own abilities, and ultimately more successful and joyful learning experiences. MTSS makes sure that schools don't give up on students. Instead, we systematically support them until they find success. Thank you so much for watching this breakdown of MTSS. I hope it made this complex system a lot clearer. If you want more videos on special education, IEPs, autism, ADHD, behavior strategies, and inclusive teaching, please hit that subscribe button. Remember, every learner matters, and every teacher can make a difference. I'll see you in the next video.